Good to see you all, as always. Tremendous victory, obviously, coming here on the road against a great divisional opponent. Getting a win in any which way possible is, something that we were searching going into this one. But just want to say how proud I am of the defense, the offensive line, the special teams, and the offense. We really played very well on all three phases, but there's a lot of meat on the bone in all three phases. So we got to go back to work and, make sure we correct all the little things, but very proud of the guys.
J.J, can you take us through the last throw to Jalen Naylor and what you saw there?
I told Speedy ever since, beginning of the season that he's going to make his mark. And, every single day, every single game, he's always doing the dirty work. He's always doing everything right. And, when I saw him manned up and Coach O'Connell gave us, that confidence to go convert on that play, I knew it was meant to be and I knew it was his moment. And, the offensive line did a tremendous job of holding up and he did a tremendous job of bringing it down.
What was your reaction when you got the play call and it wasn't passed?
To be honest with you, it was just starting my operation, starting my thought process. In those moments, I think clutch is a myth. It's just all about how can you execute that individual play regardless of the circumstances. Those are things outside of our control, so it was just about the basics.
What did it mean to you to be back here in Michigan and playing and the speed of the game that you came back from your injury and all the rest of that?
It meant a lot. I love this state. I've shed a lot of blood and tears in this state, and, there's so many relationships that I built over the 3 years that I was at Michigan, and seeing some of those faces and making those, connecting interactions is, really special. And, I'm just tremendously grateful for Michigan faithful and tremendously grateful for all the Vikings fans back at home because I know they were cheering for us. I know they were believing in us, and it means the absolute world to us. And we're going to give it our all every single week for you guys back home.
Aaron Jones said that when you guys were talking today, you said we're going to wake some people up today. How important was that for you, not only personally, but for the team and against the division opponent?
I just think, even after today, we haven't scratched the surface of our potential. And, this team's so talented, but the most important thing is we love each other. Every single one of us, coaches, players, staff, we have this tight bond that, is something very hard to achieve and you can't buy. And, it's just one of those things where, it's going to click and we're going to peak at some point, but we're not there yet. And, we're just focusing on our process and trying to strive for perfection every single day.
J.J., what went into the meeting last night? Kevin O'Connell said that there was a conversation at the beginning of the week between him and the captain just about what was going to go into the week. But what went into it for you in terms of what you want to say to the team, and what was the whole scene like for you as a captain?
I thought it was a great idea by Coach O'Connell, and for me, my message was simple. I've been sleeping in my college bed for the past, few weeks with little Rome, my kid, and getting my sleep, and I just couldn't sleep, and it felt like I was catching this glare from this silver platter with a juicy opportunity right on top of it. And that's what I told the guys. This opportunity is something that we've been asking for and praying for ever since we started wearing pads. And it's just a realization that put everything into this moment, put everything into this game, and we'll see where we end up.
The fact that you haven't played in so long and you come out, doesn't seem to be any rust, everything's sharp, you get touchdowns in your first two drives and all the rest of it. Where's the let me get back into the rhythm of the game kind of thing?
It's just executing ball plays. At the end of the day, I think we handled my high ankle sprain a tremendous way. And, thanks to the athletic training staff, thanks to Coach O'Connell and his perspective on dealing with that, because I felt like I went out there 100% today and, just back where I left off. And, like I said before, it's just about executing plays, not getting into a rhythm, just, do whatever Coach asks.
Why are you sleeping in your college bed? You got to unpack some.
Just, getting that quality sleep, Yeah, Romy's a tremendous baby, but, babies love to cry in the middle of the night, so, yeah.
What did you think of your performance today?
I'm happy that we got the win, but I'm not proud, to be honest with you. There's a lot of meat on the bone, and I feel like I could have played a lot better, but coming into this environment and, controlling my emotions, controlling, kind of my temperament going into it, I was proud of that, and just the line of scrimmage procedure. We didn't have too many self-inflicted, but there was some that we need to clean up. And, there's a lot I need to clean up. Like the one to Speedy, I got to put that ball out in front of him. He won. And there's a lot of opportunities where I was on the run that I just need to get those reps back again and, not be so amped and, miss some of those guys high. So there's a lot that I need to clean up, but I'm happy the boys had my back today and extremely grateful.
On those ones on the run, are you saying, or you think you should have kept running, or are you just saying you wish you had more accurate throws, or what? Like what?
I just wish I hit him. You know, there's when you're running, you build up so much momentum that if you try to throw the ball the same way when you're not moving, then it's going to fly up. So, you know, just little things like that, and you know, getting more experience with those situations.
Ask you about being back in Michigan. Can you tell us what went into wearing that shirt in this game at the stadium in this state?
Just the mentality, you know, shed a lot of blood and sweat and tears here, and you know, just I'm a Michigan man, and through, I love this state. I love, you know, everything that went into kind of cultivating and crafting who I am as an individual, who I am as a football player, and yeah, it's just, you know, something that I wanted to show tribute to, and a lot of thanks.
For those who aren't familiar, like, can you just take us through what the cheer means and like where it came from, how they organized it?
Yeah, it was just Coach Harbaugh's idea. I don't know how many games you have to play to earn one, but you know, it's just the blue-collar mentality, going to work regardless of where it is, regardless of the situation, regardless of the circumstances. We're just going there to do our job and, you know, take care of business. So.
What was your reaction when you got back to the locker room and they're all kind of waiting for you?
It was awesome. Yeah, just when you're hurt, you know, being on IR last year and being out for 5 weeks, it absolutely kills me not being out there with those guys because I love every single one of them, and you know, I know they got my back and I got theirs the rest of the way.
JJ, as you're thinking through that this week, when you've missed time and the team's lost a couple in a row, how do you kind of balance the emotions of that part of the season with just saying it is just executing football plays? How do you kind of hold those two things together?
Just being present, you know, understanding that, you know, there's like the 3 and 4, whatever the schedule was before this next game doesn't matter. Like that doesn't come into play until later in the year. So we just got to focus on the next opportunity, the next challenge to overcome, and you know, it eliminates all anxiety, all nerves, all outside noise when you just put one foot in front of the other. Thank you, guys.